Fnatic's gonna lose this. Oh, what a nice play by... That was really good by Reckless. Wow. Wow. Wow, okay. Okay, well played, Reckless. Awesome series between Fnatic and TES. So this is the quarterfinal match that happened when this is gonna be uploaded, probably like yesterday or into 2 days ago. And basically we're gonna continue the previous video we did between G2 and Suning from the group stage. And before we go into this one, I watched the third, fourth, and fifth match of this series, so I know what the result is. I know what happened in those games. So those reviews are gonna be a little bit faster, while the first two I didn't watch, so I don't know what really happened. So we're gonna absorb and do the same process, where what we will do is we will look at pick and ban first. Then, after the pick and ban is over, we will go into the game and we'll analyze the game. Now again, the third and fourth and fifth game is gonna be done a little bit faster. The first and second one is gonna be a little bit slower. Now, I did watch now those 3 games, and I did watch the G2 versus Suning, so I'm kinda starting to understand the whole point about the meta and what people are prioritizing right now, and where does it seem to kinda click and what teams want to play. So basically, teams are focused a lot on early mid game, and basically the games are very, very fast, so they really trust themselves into closing out the game. So knowing that, let's go into the first game and let's analyze the draft first. So the first thing we're gonna look at is gonna be the bans. So Volibear, champion that popped up a lot. It's been very, very commonly used against Renekton. So basically that Volibear ban can sometimes enable the Renekton pick, but usually right now top laners are just left kind of on an island, and it's being played around like mid jungle into bot lane. Then we have TF, commonly used pick from Fnatic. Probably TES saw a lot of games being played from TF when Fnatic played it, and they kind of respect and target ban Nemesis. And then we see Orianna. Now, to understand the Orianna ban and TF ban, we kind of also need to look at the bans from the Fnatic. So Fnatic started the ban with Syndra. So the response there is TF, because Syndra is kind of like notorious, as counter TF. Then they banned TF, so they banned Lucian. Basically, Lucian is something that every single person plays on in Worlds, and with the new Manamune Muramana build, it is a very oppressive pick because it gives you priority around mid. Then we have, when Lucian is banned, they say, okay, Syndra and Lucian is banned, so you're probably gonna blind pick a mid laner, so we're gonna ban Orianna. Okay, so that is the next champion that Nemesis played. And then finally they close up with a, flexi set, something that's been commonly used in Worlds so far. Then what happens is that now we see priorities, right? So first of all, Graves, a big jungle priority right now. Graves, Nidalee, those kind of champions. So decide to go Graves, pretty fine. Fnatic responds with Senna and Kindred. Now, Kindred into Graves, I don't know why this is happening. I've seen so many times and talked with so many Graveses, and basically Graves usually counters Kindred because of the fact that, Kindred is early mid game, very close range, and she's not able to out damage a Graves that goes next to her. Now it is true that the later the game goes and the more stacks she gets, she will then, have more range and be able to kite the Graves. But probably, they scrimmed and they figure out that we don't really pick Kindred to counter Graves, but basically to have an ultimate that is easier to be used in mid and late game. Like, honestly, she's a slower jungler than Graves. She loses 1v1 against him. I really dislike this pick. But I guess they have a plan going forward. Then what happens is that TES responds with Israel and Zoe. Israel, a really, really good pick right now. So it's like Israel, Senna. The Caitlyn and the Ashe priority kind of dropped a little bit, but it's like, you know, Senna, Israel, Ashe, and then sometimes, you know, a Caitlyn is being picked, depends on who pilots it, and then we go into like Jhin or stuff like that. So not really surprising that Jackie Love picked up Israel. He's very confident on that pick, and it's probably just a comfort pick. Like, when we go into pick and bans, guys, you need to understand that a lot of times when we open up a best of 5, there's one of two things happening. One, we go completely comfort and we say, let's just see what the enemy has prepared for us. Or two, we just open up with something that is like, oh, we practice this for a long, long time. And based on the fact how Chinese teams play, they always prefer, like, I haven't really seen in a long, long time a Chinese team just outsmarting an AO team or a Korean team. Usually it's like, we know what we're good at, we're going to play that, and we're going to muscle our way through it. And for now, in the last 2 World Championships, it worked, you know? And I think Damwon has kind of like a similar style. We're going to look at their games a little bit later this week, maybe tomorrow. And basically see if they have kind of like the same mindset. Is this the mindset right now for Season 10 to win Worlds? Then we have Zoe, which is a pretty good blind pick. Like, we could go here like something like LeBlanc. We could hear, you know, Zoe's fine. We could also here, you know, prioritize either support or top lane. Now, I personally think that when they saw Graves and when they saw Kindred, they were like, if we pick Zoe, there's not much that, you know, Fnatic can pick to basically match or beat us 2v2. So that's why they were just, you know, confident with Zoe, which I don't disagree. It's a pretty okay pick based on the fact that Syndra, Orianna, you know, all of those champions are already taken out. And Zoe, you know, does pretty good against other champions. So, now we already see they have a long range kite comp, right? So they need kind of like space, you know, to do damage, right? So what Fnatic responds with Galio. Galio is like, okay, I will go in. We will go in with Kindred, Senna, and Galio. We're gonna go in, which I completely dislike into the comp from the left side. Why is because versus poke and long range, you either pick a lot of hard engage or you pick longer range, right? One of those two things. And Fnatic opted here for the engage. And if I'm here, TES, it's very simple to understand. Okay, I will take away the engage tools. Okay? So, what happened is they take away the Camille, which I think is completely correct, okay? But I really dislike the Shen ban. And the reason why I dislike the Shen ban is because of the fact that, you know, if they pick Shen early, you can go like GP, you can go Vladimir, there's so many picks you can go against Shen to just mess him up, okay? I agree with the Camille. I would here rather than, because they have to go in, you know, ban stuff that basically wants to go in, right? So, you know, I would definitely take away Rakan here if I studied a Fnatic, because Healy is known for that, and Rakan together with Leona, but blind picking Leona here into blind picking Leona into Israel and Zoe and stuff like that is pretty end. It's really hard to play. So I would say Rakan is by far the best option that they have on support. Maybe, you know, we can talk about Nautilus or something like that, but Nautilus priority seems to have disappeared a little bit. But Rakan is kind of like the only one that can set up Galio from support position very good. If we don't go into the old picks like Alistar or, you know, stuff like that. So I wouldn't take away the Shen because, you know, I think Shen fits more this comp then it fits this comp, okay? Because yes, they might go for a 1-3-1, but if you go Galio, Shen, and Senna, holy shit, man, you really don't have damage. You really don't have damage. So, the next step that happens is Fnatic bans Yuumi and Bard. I think Yuumi ban is really good. I don't know how I feel about the Bard pick. Like, I don't know enough about the scrims to understand the Bard ban, okay? I don't know enough about Yuyanya to know if he's a very good Bard player, but you need to play Bard really, really good. But it has been played by G2 in the past games, so I can understand why Bard could be considered an option. I would rather, in my opinion, ban a counter to Rakan rather than, ban Bard. So they pick Rakan. Really, really easy pickup for Hylissang. Really comfortable with it. Synergizes with Galio. Finally some engage because you committed with Galio to engage, right? So really, really good there. Then what we see, they respond with Leona, which is a counter pick to Rakan. But I really dislike this mentality of, okay, look, you basically picked, you want to go in, right? But your champions to go in, like Senna and Kindred in the backline, are pretty weak, And you took away Camille, so the Camille Galio is not going to happen. So now picking a champion that actually goes into this champions, into Senna, with kiting champions, is just completely off team. It is completely, like, why are we picking Leona into this is beyond me. It's just because probably, they picked Rakan, so I will pick Leona to counter. I completely dislike that, I would rather here see stuff like, if they wanna pressure, because they have Graves, right? I would here preferably see even like Nautilus, because Nautilus can play both modes. Leona, it's very, very difficult. Then what they could go for is they could potentially go for something like a Morgana, right? Morgana is not that strong right now as well. What other champions we have? Tahm Kench, not really needed because of the fact that, Tahm Kench is really bad against Senna and Kindred. So, yeah. So I can kind of starting to see why Leona was, like, based on the fact the pool that we saw from the supports. So, because we could potentially go Thresh, but Thresh also does just less than Rakan. Okay, so I'm starting to understand. Like, I still don't like the Leona pick. I don't know how much they practice stuff like Morgana. Something off team, right? Is, for example, something like a Fiddlesticks also does really, really well into Rakan. Morgana would be a little bit off team, would be in team, but Morgana is not that strong especially into Senna, stuff like that. So yes, I can kind of see it's like either Leona or Nautilus, or if you go into the realm of Tahm Kench, Braum or something like that, it's just bad. Especially Braum gets countered, so Braum no. Okay, so I kind of see why they pick Leona. I still don't like it. I still would play something kitey, and if they decide to go for Ornn, I think if this is not Ornn, if this is a carry, I would actually like to see Leona to be the only frontline. But you have to play defensive Leona, which is, again, shit. I think that's shit. Okay, so yeah, I really dislike that. And then Ornn, I think Ornn was being picked or banned like whole world, so this is a common pick. And then after this, we see that Fnatic picks up the Singed, and this is like, this is a Bippo special, and based on the champions this guy have, Singed does a lot, guys. Like, I know it might seem that, they trolled around and they're like, what's Singed doing here, But Singed is actually a champion that can absorb damage pretty well, and actually champions that don't have that much a burst, or like, something like a Kog'Maw or something like that, that could just shred Singed, or like Kai'Sa, Xayah, stuff like that, they actually have big problem. Ezreal can kite him, true, But if he focuses too much on Singed, right, Singed can just run on and do a lot of damage. So basically, I actually really like this pick. It surprises the top lane. It's like, you need to understand also from the first best of 5, right? First game, you want to surprise someone, right? You want to be like, whoa. And this is the wow effect. And I love the fact they picked Singed here, you know? Because of the fact that even if it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's like a going champion, has a good matchup into Oren, and fits into that going in, I really like that. Plus the surprise factor is huge, guys. You need to understand, in best of 5s, the surprise factor is huge. Okay, so now let's go into order. Let's go into game. Actually, let's talk about matchups here. Okay, so what's gonna happen in the game? So these guys picked all 3 picks to kite. So they said that we need frontline, so they picked up the Oren and the Leona, right? Which now they can go in, they can go out. It's Leona and Oren synergize well with Graves, but you know, Kindred, Galio, Rakan, Senna, they want people to go into them. They want people to go into them. So it seems like they have a whole comp, but it's like, if they just played for range and they just don't let these guys go in, which their engage is only Rakan, right? Like, I think TES would have a way easier time to, you know, actually win this game. Then what we see is, let's go for the matchup. So top lane, this matchup is Singed favored, you know. So Singed is very annoying for Oren because it's just so hard to proc your passive, really. Because if Singed is good and he knows how to fling, holy mother of God, really. Singed is super annoying, and Oren needs to decide, you know, is he gonna trade, is he gonna try to kill him? So we should have top lane pressure, and Singed can decide, does he go proxy? There's many modes Singed can play. Then Graves beats Kindred handedly early mid game. Like I said, after she gets some range, then potentially she can kite him. Mid lane matchup, Zoe against Galio. I would say it's completely dependent on the junglers. But if the matchup is isolated, it's Zoe favored because it's range versus melee. Then we have Israel Leona against Senna and Rakan. I would just think that both this is like, it's even. It's like a farm matchup on both sides. And it's just about the minion waves, how they are pushing, you know? So the pressure is gonna get extended. So what Graves wants to do is he wants to play around mid into bot, right? And he wants to play for early Drake's Heralds because he has an advantage on mid lane and on versus Kindred. And what Kindred wants to do is she wants to set up the Singed really good. And she wants to also, when she feels there's a good opportunity, with Rakan influence the mid lane matchup on Zoe, right? Or the second possibility is that Galio and Kindred, you know, on the timers that Graves and Zoe reset, go bot and influence matchup. It's hard to kill the Israel. They can potentially dive him, true. But it's easy to kill. It's kind of simple to kill Leona if they focus properly. Okay, so basically I would say Fnatic is kind of like hoping to get mid prio and then going into, you know, bot. Going into, influencing bot, but actually they will have top lane pressure top, so Kindred is probably gonna path towards, I will talk about the first path later, but and in terms of like, you know, just game, I would say this team is very early mid game focused, you know, and this team, I think if it goes like 3, 4, 5 items, this team should have the upper hand. I know ASN has insane scaling, like infinitive scaling, but you know, Zoe poke, really huge on these targets, you know. The only engage is Rakan, so after Israel, you know, gets some stuff, Zoe gets some stuff, it's gonna be almost impossible for Rakan to engage. And, you know, we're gonna come to a point where Singed is gonna get kited by Israel and Graves is gonna become a monster, and then, you know, Ornn items in the lane game. So I would say early mid game, but the problem is that Fnatic has is they really don't have many lanes to play around. So I'm really interested how Fnatic managed to play this game really well. Okay, so let's go into it. So the first thing, like we said, is Kindred wants to path towards the top side, right? Now, because Kindred does wants red to clear jungle faster, right? What she wants to do is she wants to go the loop-de-loop path. He wants to go red, blue, Grump, Wolves, Raptors towards top crab. Okay? Now, Graves wants to go. He wants to play around bot lane, so he wants to, so mid bot side, he wants to do the same path, except if Graves expects that Kindred is gonna go for this path and she's gonna skip Raptors and Krugs because Kindred is notoriously bad at taking Raptors and Krugs. He might potentially just do this, this, this. Then we have two choices. Then he's probably gonna go blue and then into the enemy Raptors and Krugs. Why? To basically pressure, give vision, and contest the camps that Kindred has trouble taking. So, yeah, let's see what happens. So Zoe went TP. I really dislike that. I would prefer something like Hands.
It doesn't look like any shenanigans afoot for level 1 right now. That is that Predator.
Starting with TP, even if you have spellbook, seems like she's probably taking it because of the fact that Galio's gonna look for an early base to get the base timing off by items and be able to come back, and she wants to match the TP, and that base is gonna be faster than 6 minutes. But I think based on the fact that Graves is really strong, she should be able to cope with that. Wants to drop down, so going to stick Fnatic's chances in this one final. Just so you know, Bwipo's played 3 games of stage profession, 2 win, 1 loss. One of the last times Selfmade played Kindred is 2. Okay, so we see both junglers decide to start on the opposite path. So Kindred, no, both junglers are gonna go the correct path towards the lanes. Oh, okay, Karsa decides to invade. I really dislike this cheese from Karsa. I really dislike this cheese from Karsa.
And it's very important to call out that carry jungle focus meta.
I really dislike this. In these early fights, because Zoe went TP, I think actually that Kindred and Galio and Singe could win.
How upsetting this leash is for Selfmade. Of course, 369 spent some time on that Gromp camp, which allows Karsa then and now he's gonna find Nemesis.
Well, honestly, the Karsa should have gotten punished here. Honestly, they had a war, they knew Singe has pushed top. Like, Singe, Galio, Kindred should beat Ornn, Zoe, Graves. So, I really dislike that, you know, Karsa didn't get punished. So, I don't really like what happened with Fnatic. Okay. So now we can see that Graves is pathing towards bot side, right? So he's gonna play mid bot. Kindred, you saw path top side, right? So basically what Graves did is maybe he anticipated that Kindred is gonna start bot side and go top. She's not gonna do the loop-de-loop. So that's why he did this invade, which if you expect Kindred to take free camps here, it's really good. But I think that Singed and Galio could have collapsed there. So now he has a huge tempo advantage over Kindred. Huge. And Fnatic doesn't have the luxury to go behind because of the fact that the later the game goes, I think at some point, yes, Senna will infinite scale, but there's a big portion of the... What? They're going for the mark. And 369 is inting.
And because Knight has the push in mid, Selfmade can't really do much about it. It's going to be that first crab and that first mark denied for Karsa.
Not for Karsa, for Selfmade. I really don't like this. So what Karsa should have done here now is he should have recalled and he should have went for the second full clear. Now he's gonna go for double crab, and that will make it so that his base is gonna be so slow, his item is gonna be slow, and this actually gives Fnatic the opportunity to make a play on bot side and basically then take Karsa's jungle. So I really dislike this crap, even if it's a mark deny, And you saw All of this gold that Karsa got, you saw? Like 300 gold. All of this Fnatic got back.
On route as well. And as it stands, Hylissang and Reckless, they've just been pushed back a little. Hilly went in with a little bit of a engage, took a big chunk of damage.
So now what I'm expecting Selfmade, two options. One, he either goes for a full clear again, or two, he goes for an invade. So Karsa's going for that, and this is what I'm talking about. It's so slow. So slow. And this is why also I said I really don't like Kindred into Graves. Ooh, Bipo.
Forced to flash early, 369 waiting for some cooldowns and won't continue the chase. The entrance once again goes in from Hylissang. A lot of damage.
Well played, bot lane.
He will get rooted up. Dash forward.
Well played.
Below 100, the cleanse comes out. First blood secured
Well played.
by Hylissang and Fnatic. They keep the
This is just purely them playing better. Shouldn't happen. And I really dislike the TP from Ezreal. He should have went cleanse this game. He should have went cleanse. No, like, no point in going TP. I didn't even see that when I looked at Summoners. So I really dislike the TP from Zoe, and I really dislike the TP from Ezreal.
Every single ability needed. Now Selfmade will just be here covering the lane as Nemesis backed away.
Yeah, there's gank up at the top side. Karsa low on mana, but again, Bwipo lost his flash early.
Alright, take a look here. 369. If he gets flung backwards, there could be trouble.
So they forced TP.
The taunt will connect onto Karsa. No further follow-up. Justice Punch will be dashed away from. And now here comes
Knight comes.
No portal jump, so won't be able to get that
So
back
Fnatic
stop
went greedy.
at max range.
Ooh, now Knight is going greedy.
The sleep connects
Well played, Knight.
against a drowsy, sleepy, dead Bwipo. Dash forward into
Now
the
Oren
wings
can
of war.
TP
Top
if
esports
it happens.
bounce back.
Okay.
1 versus 2 just walking in there.
So Knight landed that E really, really well.
Holds on to an exhaust as well, so not like Selfmade can do anything about that.
This is something that's really, really important, guys. Look at what TES did. Is Knight rotated top, gotten a kill, right? He rotated top, gotten a kill, and afterwards, wait, why am I in the middle of the screen? Okay, so after he rotated top, right? After he rotated top, what happens is that Oren TP'd mid lane. What's gonna happen now? Oren's gonna push, Zoe is gonna push, Zoe's gonna base, Oren after this wave is gonna start walking top, Zoe will come from base mid lane. And this is how both lanes pick up the maximum amount of CS. And this is really, really good done by TES. Kindred checked if Graves has any jungle camps up. And I really, really dislike this by Selfmade. So you guys can see immediately Selfmade, the moment this is what he does every single time. The moment he falls behind, what he tends to do is he tends to think about coming back with ganks. He does that with every single champion, okay? And when he starts doing that, it either goes horribly bad or it goes like he creates those miracle plays. And I think this is quality in players that is a lot of times underestimated. And especially in best of fives, it can go both ways, but if it goes the good way, it's really, really good. I really love the Lona roam. Jakilov is anything.
Jakilov is in trouble and there's no further follow. Didn't see the CC connecting. Here comes
the Ooh.
A lot of damage going down. Bwipo takes out 369. Now he's running for his life. Will get dropped by Karsa. 2 kills apiece. As all of a sudden Selfmade starts to back.
That's pretty bad.
Right through the interaction between Singed and Ornn, he puts the adhesive down so that 369 can't punt the Forge God back into the face of Fnatic. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but already seeing some more reasons.
I see TES was ready for that play. Leona rotated before, but they couldn't capitalize on it.
This wave has been in a really awkward spot for Jakilov. That's why we saw the trade go so poorly against.
Now we go aggressive with Karsa. Go, 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 go. I love this play. I love this play. Go.
Pushing into Selfmade. Blue buff is still very
really good.
Level 6 available. Collateral damage is up if Selfmade.
No, no, no. Go Karsa. He's respecting Galio. Don't respect the Galio.
Support coming in. Smoke screen goes down as well as the smite. Ryanja will find the Zenith blade. The blast code.
I think Karsa should have been way more aggressive here. Look at the item difference. I know he's respecting Galio ulti, but look at the item difference. Leona should have moved instantly. Ezreal had push on bot lane. Graves has 2 long sword advantage. He's level 6 versus level 5, right? Zoe has push mid. Like, this was easy Karza just abusing the situation, but he didn't capitalize on it. I really dislike that. I really dislike that.
Have picked up first blood in every single one of them.
That's ridiculous. And this game it wasn't even some sort of fancy.
Okay, so now they pick up the Drake. And this is the moment where Selfmade is gonna catch back. He's gonna go for the crab. And then he's gonna invade Graves' jungle because he's gonna see that Drake is gonna be taken. And this is where Karza loses so much tempo. Based on the champions we see in the game, TES doesn't have to force Drakes. It's on Fnatic to secure Drakes, not TES. Karza just lost. Like, this is something that I seen solo queue in lower elo so many times, people tunnel vision on Drake, and now all the advantage he got, Selfmade is gonna take everything back because he's gonna lose his top side. I really goddamn hate this Drake. I would rather when he saw Kindred here, right? I would rather he go through mid lane and invade his top side. I would have so much more respect for Karza if he did this. I really dislike this. Come on, Selfmade. Catch back. Go to his blue. You see now? This is the thing where then people, you know, respect a little bit too much.
Zoe is the type of champion that can take over games on her own. It doesn't matter, you know, if bot lane's going well, top lane, you know,
And now Selfmade is back.
If the bubbles are landing and you're not able to snap engage, it'll be rough.
Well, there's a snap engage, Zenith Blade, True Shot Barrage as well. Reckless starting to back away. Cleanse will be up in just a moment. Underneath the tower, Yanja takes some damage.
Whoa, okay. Jackie Love misplay there. He cancelled auto attack. He autoed. Eat. Auto. Q. Auto. Yeah, he could have done one more auto attack. He wouldn't get a kill, but he could have done one more auto attack.
Reckless and Hilly escape with their lives, but that was close.
Wow, that was a really good trade there. Even after losing the early 2v2, Jackie Love and Yanja able to come out on top. Now, Nemesis does have his ultimate if he wants to get into this bottom lane, but
and this is the thing that I talked about, is like, the bot lane was kind of evenish, mid lane has pushed, Graves is stronger, right? It's so hard for Fnatic to do stuff.
Down 20 CS in this mid lane. Knights on the Zoe doing a very good job tagging and chunking him out.
Nemesis is losing on mid lane hard. And the problem is Kindred can't help him, right? If it would be reversed, if Fnatic had Graves and TES had Kindred, it would be completely different.
Nemesis is being pushed back and playing defensive.
Alright, so top have hit a very big spike for them here. Karsa just finished off his warrior enchant, which, yeah, Selfmade hit his as well, but I think great.
You see, the reason why Selfmade got his warrior enchant is because Karsa didn't commit to blue, Karsa didn't invade his top side afterwards. Those are the two things where if Karsa did that, level 8, Selfmade, level 5, the game's over, you know? But
next to a Zoe is absolutely massive. So look at
not good.
Yanja now and Karsa are going to be moving around the map together after a
so now Leona moves for Herald,
on the top side of the map,
which is fine.
On the hunt to find and kill a Fnatic player.
This Herald is fine. The only thing that I hate about this Herald is it's the same problem, right? Like, he went directly to Herald. So if now Fnatic is good, Fnatic can take whole bot side of Graves, and it's again, it's a trait, you know? And right now, based on the fact how far Karza was ahead with his early invade, you see how he's just going behind. Now Selfmade is level 7. Now what's gonna happen is gonna be that Selfmade is gonna take this, and Selfmade is gonna be close to level 8, right? Which means that, you know, Fnatic is catching up, and Karza is just giving them for, you know, Drake Heralds, because they are not taken properly. They're not clear towards it. They're not, you cannot take something from me, right? They're like, oh, I will go there and I will take it. And I really dislike this mistake by top level players, junglers. The next thing that happens is that, you know, they get the mark, and basically they lose bot lane pressure because of that, because Graves is going to be topside. So I really dislike this play.
Control ward there in the chicken camp. It looks like Selfmade's making his way up, and if I saw that correctly, there's a mark to be picked up. So small win here for Selfmade.
See, it's really interesting because both junglers are saying they're winning. right now. Karsa's the type of guy that'll be like, yeah, I get the dragon.
Karsa has
vulnerable
lost
and his
whole
break roam, so
advantage
he's hitting
yet.
every objective for his team, and to top, that is winning. But Selfmade just got a mark, just got a red buff. He's continuing to farm up. Now he's got a level lead over Karsa, whereas just a few minutes ago, we saw when Karsa walked into his blue buff jungle.
Yeah, and now bot lane gets zoned by Fnatic. Really, really good by Fnatic play. Now Galio is moving as well. I love that. I love that. Let's go.
Nemesis step backwards. Uyanja gonna get chunked out ever so slightly. That's the engage from Hylissang. The charm lands. The knockup does as well. He's gonna be forced to retreat backwards.
But look at the collapse now. Karsa is moving down through the bot side jungle. That ultimate will tag onto Reckless. And again, Karsa, level 7 has huge burst.
Alright, level 6 available for Selfmade. Lamb's Respite is there, so is the Flash. Respite used defensively.
Fnatic's gonna lose this. Oh, what a nice play by... That was really good by Reckless. Wow. Wow. Wow, okay. Okay, well played, Reckless. Healing Reckless, really, really well played. I really thought they're gonna lose this, but really well played. But did you guys see? Did you guys see what now TES did wrong? Look. So what happened was that Fnatic went for a play. TES got out by losing Flash on Leona, and Fnatic used up all their engage tools, you know, Ignite, Ultimate, and W from Rakan, which means the TES cannot be dived anymore, right? So what TES did in response is they went mid and they pressured Galio. But the issue they did, right, is that they then tried to help with Zoe and Graves towards there. Instead of saying, oh, we're gonna pop the Herald and we're gonna take, you know, 3-4 plates around mid lane, right? And then, you know, if Galio lands, like, gets an Eon from Zoe or something like that, they can potentially burst him. Like, Graves' Zoe damage is insane with the items. Like, Galio has no items right now. So what happens is that instead, they say, well, we're gonna help you. But the problem is, look at the wave. Leona and Israel could have easily just walked up and cleared this wave. And based on how low Fnatic is, they couldn't take it. So they go with a kite comp, right? With a, you know, play slow, play from rage comp, and they just go in and they get screwed over by Fnatic. Like, really, really good mechanical capitalization on Fnatic, but this is just TES just running it down. Really good play by bot lane. Really good play by the bot lane from Fnatic.
Once again come out on top of that.
It was usually between
Singed proxy, I love it.
says I can do it better.
Oh no.
Goes between tier 3
Wow,
as well as
I didn't
the
think that's gonna
goes
land.
down an insanity potion. Was caught out by the
He should be fine.
knocked up, throws the fling. Now because of the Orge, he's gonna be forced
he's
to
fine.
flash away. I was waiting to see if the stun would come in. Buppa continues to run for his life. That poison trail doing work.
Before is laughing. Do you guys see that? He's like la 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 la. Four people went top lane. That's huge for the rest of the map. You guys are gonna see how Fnatic is gonna capitalize with Selfmade and bot lane on that. You see this? So when they went top, now Fnatic starts to contest bot side vision and pressure. Really, really good.
45 seconds until the next dragon. They did push some vision into top esports jungle, but I can't unsee the fact that both Whippo and Nemesis
Like, love the freeze from Reckless. The reason why Reckless freezing right now is good is because Kindred is gonna jungle from bot to top now, okay, towards the Singed, which means that, you know, they have to play defensive. They shouldn't care about this second Drake. TES shouldn't care about it. Fnatic should be, you know, looking to get it, but what Kindred should have done here is she should have jungled to top side, based, and went bot. And then Fnatic pushes, and then they secure Drake. But, you know, Fnatic right now is not respecting the fact that Graves could be here, and they're going for a play, which I really dislike. I think they do it because Gali has ult. And this is the game, play with TP. Why are you playing with TP, Jackie Love? Why are you playing with TP? By the way, I know that he learns that throughout the series to not take it, because I saw later games, but that's a really, really big mistake by Jackie Love to take the summoner spell. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. Karza's gonna go for a steal here. Like, this is such a waste of time. I don't know, like, this is why I see people in solo queue do this type of shit. And I'm like, yeah, but Karza does this. He's one of the best junglers. He's one of the best junglers. But when I see stupid shit like this, it's like, why? Why are you wasting your time? Why is Zoe not here mid lane after Israel died, right? Why didn't they push out? Why didn't Karza take topside jungle? Why didn't he put vision down? Why are we not playing early game? Why are we tunnel vision on this? Do they need to get 4 or 5 Drakes to win this game? No. They don't. It's on Fnatic to do them. And your bot lane just died. What, is Israel gonna TP in? Like, this kind of stuff makes me mad, you know? Because this is something I teach Silvers that they shouldn't do. Such a big waste of time. Such a big waste of time. Yeah, the 50-50 goes to Selfmade, but you know, like, why did you just waste so much of your time? The bot lane from Fnatic is gonna freeze now. Kindred is just gonna free clear towards topside, base, come bot, and then they're gonna set up a dive with Galio. Like, it's so obvious what's gonna happen. And now Karza's gonna have to jungle towards topside. He's gonna be slower than Kindred, and he's not gonna be there to defend them. Like, it's, you see, now he's he's so far behind the tempo. Not like CS, but tempo behind. He was so far ahead, but the decisions Karza is doing this game is so bad. I love what Selfmade's doing. I love it. Punish him. This is what Karza should have done instead of going for that stupid Drake. They're good. They're good. Shouldn't be a problem. You know, when I said there should be no problem? Should be no problem? Because, you know, Selfmade doesn't know how to ulti, you know, properly. They don't know. And another thing that happens, look at this. So when this happens, when he wants to go for top lane play, do you see how Leona is moving towards topside? And he's following up on this play? While the bot lane, what Rakan should have done is leave Senna alone to freeze, and Healy should have moved towards topside as well. If Healy's here, with Senna ultimate, with Kindred ulting at the same time, if they are uncoordinated on this play, this is super good. If Rakan is here and Senna ready to ulti, they will win this fight. They will definitely win this fight.
Over the wall for Selfmade. Webbo's going to get the overreach, overcommitted, and got punished. It's exactly what Top needed to do. They're still on the chase looking for Nemesis. Knight is so fast, he's going to pick up that flash and maybe look for the bubble. Oh, it's a dash away just
okay, so Israel goes mid to push. This is really good.
All those skill shots and the mobility from Knight Zoe. Yeah, it's just perfect there.
So with all these mistakes that Karza did with his pathings and stuff, how to play around lanes, TES is still winning the early game. It's really interesting.
And as you can see, like, Yuyanja and 369, they take their time because again, the damage dealers are still showing up. That's why you have Fnatic alive. When you see the damage he's putting down onto Bwipo, Nemesis and Bwipo are not beefy enough.
Knight pushing top.
The rotation. And when you add a Graves or an Ezreal damage on top of Knight's Zoe, they're gonna get melted very quickly. The gold
Zoe is insanely strong right now, guys. Insanely strong. When she bases, she's gonna be a monster. And now you're gonna put Ezreal in mid, right? And Zoe, what she's gonna do, she's gonna go top, push the wave against Galio, come mid and siege. And Fnatic with Senna. Senna is one of the worst wave clears ever, guys. She's one of the worst wave clears ever as an AD carry, you know? So... And the mid lane tower is very low, so...
Because of the Singed Galio combination. We really are, and I think for Fnatic, it's whether or not they can reliably reach Knight. Right now, he's got, you know, the cleanse, he has his flash also available, has unsealed spellbook.
On paper, Knight shouldn't get reached. Now this Herald is good. This Herald by Karza is good.
Like a righteous glory, that's going to be a little bit later down the line, and that's really where the max threat comes onto a Zoe.
The reason why he had to stop it because Zoe wasn't on the map, but on paper this one was better. Why? Because of the fact he has mid pressure, he cleared bot side jungle, you know, top lane is pushed out, so this one was good. Yeah, so now he waited for Zoe to come and now he starts it. Good. I don't think they need Herald right now, like, because there's nothing really to take except if they want to go for secondary mid lane tower. Okay. Good. Now let's go mid, Karsa. Don't go top.
There is another dragon spawning in a minute. We're playing for a Cloud Soul. And I almost think to myself, those little pockets of movement speed.
I think they could have gotten mid tower before recall for Drake.
May actually be a little beneficial. The same can be said.
So right now, item-wise, if we see, Ornn is pretty weak because of the fact he doesn't have that much armor yet. Oh, he just bought Chain Vest. Okay, never mind. So Ornn is pretty strong. Graves has almost 2 items. Kindred has almost 2 items. So Kindred and Graves are kind of even. I would say Graves still does a little bit more damage because Kindred didn't scale enough. Zoe is insanely strong. And Senna is stronger than Israel right now. Support-wise, it's even. It doesn't really. Usually supports don't really affect items that much. I mean, it's true that Rakan does have Zeeks, so he does have a small advantage. But he does, Yanja does on Leona the same thing I do, maximum cooldown reduction. Okay, so who has to start Drakes? Again, it has to be Fnatic. Why is TES with a siege comp going into a choke point? So I believe that right now, based on the fact how the situation looks, Singed is gonna TP behind. They're gonna pressure mid lane tower. When Zoe and Israel, they're gonna try to stop them taking mid tower. Singed is gonna TP behind. Galio's gonna ulti on the Rakan engage because Rakan has flash. And they're gonna clean up. I think TES is gonna lose this fight. I think this is the moment where Fnatic gets the lead.
Minions in that bottom lane that could be teleported onto by Whippo. Fnatic are going to decide against
Okay.
it instead.
Now go mid.
They may have enough time to take it out. They will before Top Esports can reply. And it looks like
Okay, Top Esports. What happened is they didn't go straight 5-man mid. So they said we're going to drop mid tower. Okay, so they didn't look for a fight there. That's fine. I still super dislike this Drake. You know, take how they did it. They didn't push out lanes. They didn't, you know, take care of everything properly. But Fnatic, this trade is super good because, you know, they have now mid tower and the enemies don't. And it bought Beepo so much time on top lane to create pressure.
This trade-off from Fnatic, assuming they're able to get down to this bottom lane. The Rift Herald will die off on this charge, so I don't think JackeyLove's going to.
Yes, this trade was very beneficial for Fnatic. Because now, because they have mid tower and the enemies don't, it's much easier for Senna to get pressure on mid. Especially with the item advantage.
Can't really respond and push for that mid lane tower either because there was already a wave in mid lane the second that inner turret or the outer turret went down rather, so Fnatic could just easily push that one in and deny top any sort of retaliation of their own.
Let's see if Leona does a play. No.
Reckless has been sitting on that Ghost Blade for a little while. We'll go back to buy, but it looks like Frozen Fist coming at you for JackeyLove. Talk so much about the mobility.
Rakan should be mid here. You see how Healy is doing again very basic mistake. He cleared out the vision, and he's still bot lane, even though the wave is pushing in. He should be on mid wave here.
Will tag down Knight, but there's no follow-up, no one else around. And I think for Reckless, sidestepping that Zenith Blade was crucial as well.
Like Reckless, honestly though, Reckless is playing this game a really fucking good Senna.
Obviously be of great benefit in the next fight. I do like seeing this Kindred build. We've seen some Black Cleaver Kindred,
but they still have the same problem, right? What happens when they go and siege mid like this? What happens? How is Senna gonna clear this? It's not possible. Okay, TP behind. Okay, so this is a very good position. This is a okay, Zoe and Israel have flashes though. They will probably have to use them. Oren gonna get killed. Well played.
Into the poison trail from Whippo as Costa is sent to the fountain. Fnatic find themselves two, but what else can they do?
And the fight looks completely random in the mid lane. No objectives up, but Fnatic see the opportunity with Whippo.
I knew that Fnatic is gonna win this one, but oh. Nice. I love the confidence. I love the confidence. Again, Reckless ulti was really good. The commit on Oren was really good as well by the team.
Look, Trevor, I don't believe in the fighting over nothing is bad anymore, because fighting over kills is an objective. That gives you gold. Experience shuts down the opposition.
I think the problem was here that Oren just flashed way too late. If Oren flashed initially over the wall, then Rakan couldn't get on top of him.
They use that Galio ult in tandem with the TP to zone away the backline of top. Then Karsa still gets flung back. Yeah, that's how the interaction works, working as intended. Buppo was able to bind him out, and it's by splitting up the fight, again, that Fnatic will be able to find their advantages.
I completely agree with the Fnatic support staff backstage, uttering words that I shall not endure to say. But that picked up additional kills for Fnatic, 7-5. With 21 minutes in, it is.
So we can kinda skip till the next drag because nothing's really gonna happen. It's just gonna be push move. So the reason why we don't talk much about mid game is because when teams are even, it's usually just ping pong waves and then who gets first priority to go for Drake. So Fnatic got push. So they won. This is like one of their strongest points in the game. Look at Reckless's items. He has 3 items. He's insanely strong. This is what Reckless is saying to his team. Guys, I really wanna fight around this Drake. So I really like this play. And TES shouldn't contest this. Israel is too weak for this fight. Israel is too weak. If TES fights this, they're gonna hard lose. Look, Fnatic has pressure and they have control over the area. There is no way for TES to walk in without Fnatic landing a good engage. And they still don't know from which side Singe is gonna come. And if Singe lands a good flank, now he is kind of very weak right now, tanky wise, right? But if Singe lands a good flank, Galio ulti, it's gonna be really huge. And this is just like, oh, well played on the TP. Yeah, as long as they engage, there's nothing TES can do. I said it, they should leave it go. Really well played. No hesitation, go in, Fnatic. 3 Baron.
What is Jackie Love doing? The arcane shift forward. He's completely out of line. Throws
Yep.
the team fight. He falls down. Now Karsa is also
Jackie Love was trolling there.
So it's 2 without
Then they get Baron. And now the issue that TES has is when Fnatic gets Baron, TES can just 1-3-1. Sorry, Fnatic can just 1-3-1. And what happens is that Oren is not able to match up Singed. Zoe is not able to match with the Baron creeps, which means that now Fnatic is in a huge advantage. Okay? As long as they split them up, they can easily push the towers. Like, Reckless is right now like a monster. Insane. Insane.
9 out of the 10 kills that Fnatic have secured, he's been involved in. And despite the fact that, yes, it is self-made on the carry, jungler, and Kindred, all the plays, the Hylissang engages, the duo has been leading the way for Fnatic.
Okay, come on, 1-3-1 now. Yeah, since they stop. Yeah, they go invade. Singe is now pressuring mid. Fine. Good. Now they go bot lane. And they're gonna use it to get another tower. Sounds good. Wait, how did TES get... Oh, so TES got Drake for the time that Fnatic went Like, this Drake doesn't really help TES much. Like, the Drakes themselves help a little bit with the ulti cooldown for Ornn and Leona, but in terms of like just the movement speed, it doesn't really matter.
And just before we get into this next engage, Selfmade still sitting on 4 stacks for that Kindred, Reckless sitting on 50 stacks for the Senna. Thank you, production, for that update. The Baron has timed out and it has extended Fnatic's lead. 3-0 bottom lane of Fnatic.
So now we're gonna wait for another Drake. We're gonna skip there. Okay. So, really good Jackie ulti.
Absolutely wrecking Selfmade and Reckless, but the Piercing Darkness as well as Senna's kit will help a lot. There is a ward just below Selfmade.
TES still loses. Fnatic, like, you need to understand, Reckless right now is such a, he's a monster. He's like, I'm not gonna say the words that, you know, because YouTube is gonna flag me, but yeah, he can completely annihilate. He can annihilate. There's no reason for TES to fight this. Soul Pod doesn't even matter. Like, this soul is not that useful for TES, like I said. Even the Drakes are not that useful for TES. As you can see, their ultimates are always up, because it's just, it's so hard to, you know, pick up a fight right now because of the tower disadvantage. With Zoe and Israel, you always want to like siege, poke and stuff like that. And because Fnatic has pressure, you know, so much on side lane because they got a huge lead with Baron, right? They're just denying TES to group at any point. Normally TES could like snowball very easily this game, but they run it down.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fnatic have played these fights very well and been instantly willing to pull the trigger. Let's not forget, though, the last team fight, it was JackeyLove Arcane shifting forward. So that was sort of handed to Fnatic on a silver platter. And now the question is, when there's a Rabadon's finished off for Knight, when JackeyLove does not throw it all away from the start, will it still look the same? They have the
I think Fnatic playing around Baron is very important, because the thing is that the enemies still have Ornn scaling. They have, you know, Graves. They don't have bad champions that work well with items, right? It is true that Senna is gonna get stronger, but this is like a point where Fnatic is insanely strong because of Reckless, right? So as long as they protect Reckless and Kindred, they will be able to carry this game. So playing around Nash is really good, but it's all about playing around vision. Fnatic is not playing to start Nash. Why? Because they don't really have any good tank, right? To tank it. But they're more like playing to fight around vision. I really like Reckless's focus. Like, he's so focused. Selfmade as well. Wow. This plays though is, I really hate when Selfmade does stuff like this. He doesn't have to do stuff like this. Wow, Hilly. Wow. 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 That was awesome by Hilly. The issue is, they're really not gonna get much from it. They're really not gonna get much for that. And now they're gonna go Baron. This is awesome. Go Baron, yeah. And now bait them in. Bait them in. Hilly, Bipo, let's go. Bait them in. Yes, 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 let's go. They think they're doing Baron. Awesome. They have to go through Singed. Awesome by Fnatic. Okay. Fnatic's gonna win this hard. Fnatic's gonna win this hard. And this is Baron after. Nemesis. Wow, well played. Take TP, JackeyLove. Take TP.
esports are getting destroyed in the river.
Selfmade is still
Really good.
on the hunt for two
Now,
and one.
And Selfmade
they're gonna
will
finish the game.
Fnatic first
Good
against
job.
Top Esports.
I would probably take, because it's Worlds game, I would probably take Baron, run it down 1-3-1, group up around mid, and just do the final engage with Israel, Zoe, no flashes. But Fnatic just say it's over. So if we look at this game, right, I have to say that Beepo actually didn't really do much this game. Okay, Nemesis didn't really do much this game. Selfmade was a benefactor in this game by the fact of very, very poor decisions after the early invade by Karsa. And it was really, really on bot lane. Healy and Reckless just, they put Fnatic on their back. Really, really, they played, Healy and Reckless played insanely well this game. Insanely well. Okay? And Jekilov ran it down. He ran it down with summoner spells and with his play. And there were a lot of mistakes. So Nai did his best. I still don't like the TP start with Zoe. And I think 369 did really his best. Karza got a huge advantage early with the, like, he coin flipped the red buff. But he doesn't really know how to snowball. And that's a big, big problem. And let's see if it fixes throughout the series. So I'm gonna go now into the second game. And let's see if in second game things change, and we're going to talk about, based on what you learned in the first game, how both coaches would think to adapt themselves into the second game, okay? If they really watch the game. So, guys, if you want to support me, subscribe to the channel. Really, every single, subscription is very, very valuable to me. If you want to have questions, write it down in the comments. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. But if you give a thumbs down, always tell me why, okay? You can not like something, but tell me why so I can improve it for you guys. Because it's for you. It's not for me, right? And don't forget the alert button, because you want to know when, game 2, game 3, game 4, and 5 comes up. So, thanks for some support, guys. Let's go into game 2.